Hi, this is a public presentation that I gave at the Kansas Authors Convention in 2016 about publishing and marketing a book in the social media era. My name is Darcy Leech, and I'm a first-time author who recently published From My Mother, Surviving and Thriving in a Family Ravaged by Genetic Disease. And this is a book I'm very passionate about, and the main reason I would share my marketing tips for free online is because I'm hoping some of you will return the favor and help From My Mother find the audience that needs it. It is the story of my family living with myotonic muscular dystrophy, and my mom and my brother follows their full life arc, and it shows the struggles and the joys of living in a family with genetic disease, and that a life lived well isn't necessarily lived long, and that sometimes our best indicator of value isn't what society tells us, but what life can be lived differently. So if you want to get a hold of me, darcyleech.com is my website, or you could get me on Facebook, either my personal page or author page. I'd love to connect. So what I'm going to talk to you first about with marketing is that if you are an unknown author, the first thing you have to have is reach. And reach might be in your hometown, but more than likely it's going to be online. And if you want to land a contract with an agent, or if you want to convince a small press, or definitely if you're going to get a bigger press, you have to have established reach in your marketing plan. So we're going to talk about how to build that. The first thing you want to do is to build a platform. Now, platform for a politician means a little bit different things than it does for an author. But as an author, you want to have an online presence, you want to have a certain audience in mind, and you want to have consistent topical content that goes towards that audience in mind. So you want a platform. Now me, with From My Mother, because it's related to a genetic disease that I am passionate about finding a care and a cure for, most of my writings are going to center around things like living in a family with genetic disease, or caretaking, or faith in face of genetics. And when I talk about my platform, I include volunteering activities I do with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, conferences with the Myotonic Dystrophy Foundation. Now, I'm a nonfiction author, and this really is a life story, so it's easier for me to have a platform. But what you need to do is establish to whom you're writing for as your most invested audience, and what things are they most interested in that you can stay on topic with. And once you can build a platform, what you want to do online is build a presence of value. That means you're going to have online digital ink that doesn't just serve you, but serves the audience that would be most invested in your story and gives them content that is meaningful to them, whether or not you personally benefit. So I have a website where people can get information about myotonic dystrophy, connect to the story, see events that I would run, see my presence in those events, but also I have a blog where I post about sibling stories, where I post things about reflections of faith with genetic disease, where I post about my books so people that are interested in me as an author can keep up with me. All of those are in central places. And my Facebook account, my Twitter account, my Instagram account, they're all built on my platform, seeking to establish a presence of value for the audience I would interact with. So there's a couple things you want to do. You want to build a platform. You have to offer value. And once you build a platform and offer value, you'll be able to steadily increase your reach. And once you have reach built up, then and only then do you really want to worry about advertising. And when you think about advertising, what you have to think about is your click-through rate. Because in the modern era, there are so many books that your job isn't to get your book seen. It's to get your book bought. And in order for that to happen, you need to find ways to advertise to your most invested audience, and advertise to them in ways that convert to either a repeated viewing of your website, following you, interacting with your online presence in some way, or the end of the rainbow is actually buying the book, and the end of the rainbow with the bonus pot of gold is that they leave a review on Amazon. But what you want to do with your platform, with offering value, with building reach, is successfully engage your audience. It's a must. So when we talk about click-through rate, we're going to talk about targeted mediums with targeted ads. If you put an ad in your local hometown newspaper, you don't control who sees it, and you don't get to see the numbers of how effective it was. If I put an ad up through my Facebook author page, I get to select the target audience based on common interest, maybe geographic location, gender, age. Facebook allows for a lot of targeting. And it's trackable. I can see the interactions, the shares, the likes, how many people have seen it, how many people have given it unfavorable reactions like hiding it. And I can see how effective I am at learning how to market my product and myself, but also how to reach the audience that I care most about. Now, what I have to tell you is this all starts with knowing your audience. You have to have an audience in mind for this to be effective. And maybe that is people within a 50-mile radius from you, or maybe that's people that also like the Muscular Dystrophy Association, or maybe people that also like an author who writes about similar things. You have to find that. But Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of those will have the ability to make targeted ads, and that is way more effective. Sorry if you're in these type of industries, I don't mean to be biased, but it is way more effective than print advertising, where you can't digitally track the data and you can't control to whom it is targeted. So this is an example of my most successful post to date. This was the third day of my book release in a planned blog tour, and when I tracked this post in the first hour, it had like 60 likes. And that was a lot per hour, and it had a couple shares, and I knew I had something effective. And once I knew I had something effective, I built an ad, and with that targeted advertising, with the ability to see how many times the links had been clicked, how many times I'd gotten reactions, but most importantly, how many times it's been shared, investing became prudent. This is my best advertisement to date. So over here you can see the the reach the post has had without any money. And over here the reach the post had that wasn't organic, that was paid. And once my line hit to where there was more paid than organic, that's when I quit advertising. So I decided to move on to something new, try to look for something more effective, and occasionally I reshare this or put another $5 into it, and it's pretty effective that way. But this is a great piece of advertising, and I'd love to talk to you about that blog post too, but that's a whole nother hour, because this blog post, if you go check it out, you can find it on my WordPress, darcyleechblog.wordpress.com. But if you go look at that, that is a study in rhetoric itself, and that post is built with all the knowledge I had about social media marketing and effective communication of the content to the author and audience, and the call to action at the end of that is really why these shares have happened. But anyway, Facebook advertising is pretty powerful in terms of what it can do in reach and engagement, and here's an example of that. So right now we're going to take a browse at this page, which you can click on this link in the presentation, but it is my professional author page on Facebook.